I discovered 11 faceless niches nobody's talking about that you should start before the year ends. Now, why? Because they're untapped right now, but next year it could be different. And they can all be done without showing your face. I mean, that's the point of a faceless channel, right? And you don't need experience making videos or doing YouTube at all. So first up is walking, you know, the thing you do with your legs. This channel only does videos of walking in New York. No face, no voice, and you see the results. It's pretty incredible, honestly. No editing, no script, and it's monetized. Because it's not some, new AI generated slop. It's original content, but very, very easy content. It's literally just walking and recording. So this guy literally picks up his camera, goes out on the street in New York City, records a few minutes, adds a little bit of captions under the video to describe what's going on, where he is, like this building is called blah blah blah. Now obviously let's take a step back here because he's a very lucky guy because everybody wants to see New York City. If you live in a small town in Wisconsin, chances are you're not going to get as many views because clearly the niche is different. So what do? If you don't want to walk outside, if you don't want to pick up a camera, and if you don't live in a place where you can record like this, you hire somebody. Yes, you can easily get other people to record these videos for you. You don't need to hire an expensive photographer. Anybody can do it. I mean, meaning your budget can be extremely small. It can even be recorded on an iPhone. And these cameras are actually pretty good nowadays, meaning that you can start a channel like this from anywhere, having people recording in any city on the planet without leaving your house. So what we do is we find the hot cities getting views and we make videos specifically in those cities. And for that reason, I'll give this niche a 7 out of 10. Definitely doable and still pretty interesting and untapped. All right, the next faceless niche is going to be biohacking. Now, Brian Johnson is known as the anti-aging guy, trying to reverse aging by doing lots of weird shit, like taking 54 pills in the morning and spending $2 million a year on his routine. But it works for him, I guess. He's actually 48 years old now, and this is Brian compared to a few years ago, so something seems to be working. Now, this niche is actually going viral on YouTube, and it can be done 100% faceless. And I actually want to prove this to you. So, historical search data by Google shows a steady increase in demand since 2012 and a massive spike in 2025 for biohacking, which means people are interested in their biology, not only to live longer, but to improve their performance and their health in all the different ways. And so when a niche is really hot, that's an opportunity to create content, and faceless content performs well in this niche if you focus on research, gathering of data, and explaining biohacking to beginners. And the best way to start is just to analyze Brian's content for inspiration instead of starting from scratch. For example, how bad is McDonald's really with 4 million views? This could easily be done faceless, and your video could be about how bad is Burger King or how good is it? Maybe, I don't know, you tell me. Now, this niche is not only good for views, but actually pretty good to monetize as well, because you can add links to your video for different anti-aging products as an affiliate and gain a commission for each sale, building multiple streams of income. And again, the more, streams of income you have, the safer you are, and I like to be safe. So I'll give this niche a score of 7.5 out of 10, which is still pretty good. Now, next up is banking. As soon as you talk finance on YouTube, your CPM is going to be like this. It's going to just climb up all the way, meaning you earn more from the same number of views because you get paid more per each view. Wow. And you don't actually need to be a finance expert or show your face to make a channel in the finance space. People have questions about all sorts of things about the financial system. It's integral to our lives, but most of us don't really understand it and what's going on there with all the numbers and everything. And that's why if we search for what happens when you send money, we find faceless videos with decent view counts simply explaining these pretty basic concepts and how sending all these things work. Same thing goes for if we search for how Visa actually works, the Visa cards, MasterCard, all that stuff. And again, most of these videos are also faceless. And remember, with a high CPM niche, it means that 30K views in this niche could be worth as much as 300K views in a low CPM niche like general entertainment, just because of the niche. So don't underestimate it because they're not getting like millions and millions of views. These niches are a little bit boring, but that's where you find some of the best gaps. It's literally wide open. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Now, the next faceless niche, guys, is going to be motivation. So look, motivational videos, except for mine, are kind of dead. A voiceover, a cool edit, and speeches by people like David Goggins or myself. I like to think of myself in that way, of course. That's not going to work anymore, so they say. But how is this channel getting all these viral motivational videos just a few months ago? Like, it's literally a new channel, and they're doing two specific things to make them go viral with this motivational content in 2026, which people think is dead. One, they're focusing on retention. Wow. Keeping viewers by mixing film clips, famous people, music, a lot of cool stuff happening. The videos are very high quality. They know how to keep people watching, and there is a science behind that. It's not just a random thing, right? And two, they found a unique spot in the motivation niche. They're not doing basic motivational tips. They're doing extreme, I guess, hardcore, which stands out, work hard, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like the motivational gurus, but on steroids a bit, and you can feel the energy as you watch. So for some people, that's perfect, and the niche is doing pretty well. Not the best for monetization, but I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. The thing is, don't avoid big competitive niches because they are a little bit competitive. If you can find a unique angle, it's literally perfect. And that's what I help my clients do, by the way, all from starting to pick a niche to starting to grow their channels and actually growing on YouTube, turning it into a consistent income stream, because that's the goal. It's not to be famous, right? With expert feedback and somebody to hold you accountable, because doing things alone is kind of stupid today, and I've already made so many mistakes. So you could just use a path that we already dug out for you. It makes sense, right? And if you're interested, you can check the link in the description for a free intro/training thing where I go over everything basically. Now, let's move on. The next Faceless niche is music. Now, wait a second. You don't need to start playing the piano. You don't need to pick up a guitar. You don't need to make music. Relax. But there is a niche anybody can do, and that is the music industry. I just dropped this. And that is the music industry. Now, how songs go viral, how artists get paid for streams, or why they don't get paid sometimes, and why some songs all sound the same. Each one of these video ideas could go viral. Now, that's a bold claim. Lucas, how do you know that? Well, because I generated these ideas using AI based on existing viral videos, like this one with 2.3 million views, completely faceless. So it's actually based on things that already work. That's the way you want to start on YouTube. This niche is literally made to be faceless. People don't really care about you, no hard feelings. They care about music. And so if you start throwing in celebrities, that is how you really boost your click-through rate and make this content pop. So if you're into music, or if you hate music but you like YouTube and you like money, I would start here. 7 out of 10. Speaking about money, next up is the cost of things. And people are increasingly stressed about money, which is totally fair given the situation today. But there is a niche on YouTube called the cost of things, like the cost of owning a car, or the cost of having a kid, or the cost of living alone versus roommates, or the cost of not smashing the like button. It's exploding right now. And there's an endless amount of videos that you can create in this niche. And anything related to finance or similar topics about finance comes with higher CPMs, meaning you get more for the same amount of views. So it's a pretty good deal. Plus, it's also perfect as a faceless channel because you don't need to go and buy a car. You don't need to buy a house. Well, maybe it's a good thing, but you don't need to do it for the video. And it's about reciting numbers and facts in a very interesting way. It's not about your personality. It's not about how charismatic you are or something like that. You're completely faceless, which is very nice because you don't need to show anything. I'll give this niche a 7.5 score out of 10. And guys, quick break to address the elephant in the room, which is AI demonetization. Yes, some creators are facing increased backlash from YouTube for using AI in a AI slop way, getting demonetized, but most channels are still completely fine, and AI is still a great tool if you use it properly according to their new guidelines, which I spent like a whole day reading. They've changed a lot recently, so I do recommend being extra careful and stay up to date with these things to stay safe. And I'll leave a link in the description to the new guidelines. And I also made a full Q&A video where I talk about these things a little bit more in depth and what you need to do to be safe. Because if you do these things, you'll be completely fine and you won't have to worry at all. The next up is fasting. People fast for both religious and health reasons, and intermittent fasting has become common. That means cycling between periods of eating or not eating. For example, 16 hours of fasting per day or 2 days per week. There are many different ways that people fast. Now, I'm not going to teach you how to fast. I'm not that great at this stuff, but I'm here to show you the faceless niche. And so a simple YouTube search will show us a high virality of this niche. And the best part is you can promote supplements, coaching, related programs, maybe not food when they're fasting, but definitely in other times, good food, and monetize much more than just from YouTube alone. So even if you don't go viral all the time in the fasting niche, you can build a consistent machine. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 score. Now, next up is the insider niche. So I kind of made this term up, but I think it's a good way of explaining it. Now, what's an insider? An insider is a person with special knowledge or access, like me to all the secret launch codes, maybe to Illuminati or something if you're into that as well. Or just a career people don't know much about on the outside. This channel makes faceless content on weird professions like POV, you're a crypto miner who starts with 1 GPU. Like, how many people are crypto miners if you compare it to the average person? Or this video, POV, you're the man CIA sends when diplomacy fails. You get to experience what it's like from their point of view, and people like this because it's unique and exclusive. But the secret is that these scripts are mainly written by AI, and the videos are mainly AI produced because they're not actually the insider that they're talking about. They're using stories from Reddit and other types of stories to create these perspectives, and you don't need to be the actual insider to make these videos if you didn't understand that, which I'm sure you do. I'll give this niche a 6.5 out of 10. And so the next faceless niche is our legal system. Now, I'll give you a few examples and see if you would click on this video to prove a point. Video number 1, why companies pay millions to avoid trial. Number 2, what really happens when you get sued. Number 3, what happens if you ignore a lawsuit. Number 4, what your boss hopes you'll never learn. Now, these are all videos that you can make. Faceless, taking a boring topic of our legal system, pretty boring, turning it into a real world problem with questions that people have. And people have so many questions about these days. And the reason why this works pretty well is because you don't need to be a lawyer. It's because it's mostly factual, it's the law. You don't need to have an opinion, be a lawyer. It's easy to create faceless and rely on facts. And you can also write things about news and current events and legal cases and whatever you want to do. 7 out of 10. Now, next up, people have questions not only about the legal system, but also about corporations. And the next faceless niche is corporate explained. Why companies have so many subsidies, why or how tax havens actually work. Do you know that? And why everything is owned by a few companies. There are so many people trapped in bad YouTube niches while these still exist, with literally, like, I just made up good titles for you right there. You can just start, and I promise you, if you search for similar titles, you'll find viral videos just waiting to be made. 7 out of 10 again. And then we have social media. You can help people understand it better. You can help people understand how social media platforms work, how the algorithm works, how it affects our brains, depending on what part of the social media niche you want to focus on. Very important questions that are growing fast in our society. And that's all you really have to do. You have to pick a niche, you have to get started, and if you only sit around, nothing's going to change. So click this video to get my blueprint for starting a YouTube channel, which is the next step to get started and actually do this for real.